FYF Sports, Madison Lamont. We back. Another reaction video for you guys. I thought this particular video was interesting. When I was listening to this interview with Andre Iguodala, and he was speaking on Jimmy Butler. And a lot of people would call this man crazy for making this connection when talking about these two players. But his take makes me sit back and think on a lot of players of today's game that we are not truly appreciating, and we're not truly appreciating or assigning them their true value or place in NBA history, primarily because we don't see these guys dominating in the realm of winning championships. And those are generally the guys that get the lion's share of the fan chatter, the fan banter, and some of the things that fans and media like to present and just kind of throw into a box and give you and just say, these are the best players. Take these and then have a conversation about these players. These guys haven't won over here. We got to keep them in a separate tier. And you hear that a lot in some of these conversations where we put these players in certain tiers. And we say that they can't come in, we can't speak of them in this top tier until they do this or that. And so we put out expectations that are truly unrealistic. Let me go ahead and play this reaction video. Again, I thought this was a really good take from Andre Iguodala. I want to hear from you guys. I'm going to give you guys my thoughts after we check the video out.
Jimmy he's probably the closest that I've seen to Kobe Bryant. That mentality of just, man, Jimmy will figure out a way for us to win. I've never seen a will like that. I'm like, this dude got a Kobe Bryant will. Because you always look back and say, how is Jimmy getting it done? He can't shoot threes, he can't go left. Whatever they say about Jimmy, he figuring it out. I seen him dribble with his right hand left and then pull up for three against Milwaukee this year. It was going crazy.
It was Andre Iguodala speaking on Jimmy Butler. Very interesting conversation. You guys need to check out the full interview. He made the statement that the closest thing that he's seen to Kobe Bryant in the league is Jimmy Butler. And he more so talked about Jimmy Butler's will to get it done on the basketball court, irregardless of efficiency, irregardless of what his skill sets allowed. He talked about how Jimmy Butler always finds a way to help the Miami Heat elevate much higher than a lot of our own expectations. And we can just go back to this most recent year of NBA basketball when, as an 8th seed, he helped his team get to the NBA Finals when most people didn't even have this team getting out of the first round, let alone even the second round of playoff basketball. All of that for the Miami Heat, it's jump-started by a man in Jimmy Butler. So we can look to Jimmy Butler just last year. We saw how he played in the first round of the playoffs. Offensively electric, led the team in that primary statistical category that fans love to see, scoring the basketball. From the second round on up, it was more of less efficient on the offensive side, but I'll figure out how to get it done everywhere else with regards to playmaking, facilitating, defending, allowing other guys to thrive, whether it's Kyle Lowry in the clutch, whether it's Caleb Martin, whether it's Gabriel Vincent, whether it's Max Strus. He found a way to wheel that Miami Heat team to multiple victories, to multiple playoff series wins over teams we didn't think they could beat. And I'm starting to ask myself, are we giving Jimmy Butler his just due as a star in this league? And have we not elevated Jimmy Butler to superstar status because he's not as gifted offensively as some of the greats? Maybe because he hasn't won multiple championships like some of the greats were afforded when they were placed on great teams, like we saw with Kobe and Shaq combination, like we saw with the Jordan and Pippen combination, like we've seen with Steph Curry in this beautifully ran Golden State Warriors organization. Just a lot of these players, right place, right time, stars align that put superstars around them so that they can thrive and be great. And so when we think back to the stars in this league, do we look at Steph Curry the same if he doesn't have the 4 championships? Do we look at him the same without those 4 championships? Maybe he only has 1. Maybe he has none. But he still has the same statistical accomplishments and other things. We still know that he's a great player. And so with Jimmy Butler, are we misjudging him solely because he's been on teams that just haven't had enough to win championships? I would say his best opportunity to win a championship was when he was with the Philadelphia 76ers and they were ousted by the Toronto Raptors. Outside of that, I wouldn't say that he's been on championship style rosters, and he's much more so himself elevated others around him to get those teams much farther than we anticipated they would go. Is Jimmy Butler truly a superstar in this league? Is he more than just an all-star? Are we not giving him his just due credit? And this is including me, myself. Are we not giving him his just due flowers because he hasn't won a championship, because he doesn't necessarily look the part like a lot of the other superstars in this league who are gifted on the offensive side of the ball, right? Are we diminishing Jimmy Butler because he's a great defensive player first and then offense second? Are we diminishing Jimmy Butler because he's a utility type player that can kind of plug in with whatever the team needs are that day to win the game? And sometimes it might not be getting 30 points. It might not be taking all of the clutch buckets at the end of the game, but he finds a way to will his team to victory. Are we punishing him because he's more so that type of star as opposed to the traditional stars that we've grown to love in the past, who like Kobe, like Jordan, like the LeBrons, like the Steph Currys, who shine on the offensive side of the ball, and they give us that entertainment value, the bang for our buck that we want to see. And the one thing that we know with the NBA is defense isn't very entertaining. It's not very fun to watch. We saw that in the early 2000s as the Detroit Pistons dominated in the NBA. And it just wasn't a very fun brand of basketball to watch. We even noticed that with the San Antonio Spurs and Tim Duncan. A lot of people called that team boring because they were a defensive-oriented team. They did not have the flashy stars that could go out there and get you 45. They're going to give you those fancy moves which lead to crazy game winners. They just shined on the defensive side of the ball. And I think the entertainment side of basketball in the NBA is kind of embedded in us, how we determine who are stars, superstars, or just fringe stars in this league. And so I think we have to sit back and kind of have to redefine how we assess players and who we label as superstars. Is Jimmy Butler truly a superstar in this league? Or is he just an all-star player on a really good Miami Heat team? It's FYF Sports, man. It's been another great podcast episode. Looking forward to hearing from you guys in the comments. Make sure you spam up them comments, smash the like button to support this video. But I definitely want you guys to chime in. I want your thoughts on this particular topic on Jimmy Butler. FYF Sports, another great podcast episode. We will be back with more sports news. Until then, it's FYF Sports. We out.
On my own, no fixer. I'm gon' ball, no pick no. That I ate doors, they live for. Talking on my back, go figure. Whole team eats from spitter. Never was the one to go flicker. No face, no case, no picture. Full place, big stakes, my dinner.